So here I'm creating a new canvas, and I am filling in the artboard in with a light coral, I should say, maybe light coral color. Tell me if I'm wrong about the color. And I'm just gonna follow the basic techniques that I actually use when I draw hair digitally here on this app. So yeah, if you watch my videos on a regular basis, you must know that I use airbrush for everything. So I was happy that they have airbrush in their brush library. So here what I'm doing is I am creating hair-like strokes, and you guys can see the size of the brush and the opacity of the brush as well on the screen. The color depends on you, obviously. Now the only thing I really don't like about this app are the ads that kept popping up while I was drawing hair, so that was quite annoying for me. Also, you guys, before you start making those hair-like strokes, you guys can go ahead and increase the stabilizer. Now stabilizer is somewhat similar to Streamline that we have on Procreate. It actually, prevents any bumps in the lines that we are creating. I hope that makes sense. So that's quite helpful. And for this app to be free, this app has a lot of tools, helpful tools, the basic ones that you actually need to create something real good. So that is something I really liked, that they have Smudge Tool, they have Stabilizer, and obviously they have airbrush. So that was a plus point for me. So yeah, that's what I'm doing right here. So what I did basically is, so I created that base first, and then I created a new layer, and with the new layer I just decreased the size of the brush, and then I went ahead and created hair-like strokes again. Then I created a new layer again, and this time I decreased the size of the brush a bit more, and then I added hair-like strokes over that. So that's how I go layer by layer. Now that is just my technique. You can do whatever you feel is best for you. So that is what I'm doing here. Once I'm happy with the hair strokes, what I basically do is I create a new layer just underneath every other layer, and this time I decrease the size of the brush even more, and I am adding these hair strokes at the outer edge of the hair shape, I should say, just to kind of make the hair look realistic, because in real life we have a lot of baby hair sticking out of our head, if that makes any sense. So that's what I am basically doing right here. And now once I am done with that, what I also like to do is I just like to go ahead and pick up Smudge Tool, and I kind of go over those starting points of the strokes, because they look kind of very harsh. So that is why I like to go over those. And here now what I'm doing is I created a new layer again at the very bottom of every other layer. I'm using the similar brush. I'm just playing around with the opacity and the size of the brush. This time I'm just filling the whole shape in with a darker color, darker than the color that I used to create the strokes. Now when I fill the whole shape in, I also make sure that I am adding that color in a sense that it looks like shadow, if that makes any sense. So I'm kind of adding shadows in this whole shape. So also it just depends on you, or also depends on the light source for your painting, and keeping that in mind, just add or just fill the shape in by adding the color where you think the light is not at all hitting, and add shadows. I hope that makes sense, you guys. Now what I'm doing is I'm again just building it up. So I added a new layer just above it, and this time just decrease the size of the brush a little bit and add more shadows. Now this time the shadows are going to be a bit harsh than the ones we created initially. So yeah, that is how I'm doing right here. That is what I'm doing right here. You guys can see it on the screen. So yeah, thoughts on Ibis Paint. I kind of like it, but I'm not really sure about the ads, first thing. So considering the app is free, this app is quite good, and if you're a beginner, then you can go ahead with it. the basic tools that we actually need to create good digital art are there. So you guys can go ahead and use this app. So if I am gonna use it again for my artworks, I don't think so, because I actually like using Procreate and Sketchbook. As you guys can see, that ad popped up and I was so annoyed by that. But you guys can pay to get rid of the ads, so that's a thing right there. But overall, this is a good app. So what I'm doing right here is, once I'm done with the shadows and everything, I create a new layer just above everything. And the first thing I do is I create hair-like strokes once again, but this time I create those with lighter color. You guys can see the size and the opacity of the brush on the screen, and I'm creating these hair-like strokes again. I know you guys are annoyed by me by creating hair-like strokes again and again, but this is how I do it. So yeah, and that is quite simple, you guys. Also, you guys, once you are done with the hair stroke thing with that lighter color, go ahead and pick up your smudge tool and go over the strokes so that they don't look harsh at all. So once you're happy with that, just create a one last layer just above all of those layer, and using the same color, I am adding more highlights to the hair like this. And don't worry about it being perfect at this point, because we are going to be going over those with the smudge tool like this, just to smudge it all out. And the smudge tool in this app works similar to the one that we have on Procreate, so that's quite amazing. And I actually tested it and tried it before creating this video, so the smudge tool was working similar to the one in the Procreate. And if you don't know how the smudge tool works, then I will link a video down in the description where I actually explain how the blending tool works. Even though I did that video on Procreate, but the blending tool in Procreate and the smudge tool right here are very similar, so yeah, that doesn't make any difference. So yeah, you guys, I am actually done with the whole hair thing right here. The last thing that I do almost every time is I just go back into the layer where I created shadows, and I just, darken them up a bit more once I'm done with the highlights. And that's how I go about it. It actually, makes a huge difference. So that's about it for today's video, you guys. I really hope you guys found this video helpful, and if you guys want me to do more tutorials on Ibis Paint, then just comment it down below in the comment section so that I know you want more Ibis Paint tutorials. And yeah, if you do create something out of my tutorials, then tag me on Instagram and I will link in the description as well. And yeah, other than that, go ahead and give this video a big thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys the next time.